Admiral Crixtal's 4 eyes remained fixed on the tactical display, his scaled fingers drumming against the command console of the dreadnought Sovereign's wrath. The hegemony's most powerful vessel hung in space like a metallic moon, its hull bristling with plasma cannons and quantum torpedoes. Around it, the entire 7th Fleet maintained formation, 200 ships representing the combined might of 17 species, all united under the Galactic Hegemony's iron fist. "Status report," Crixtal commanded, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had conquered 12 star systems. "All ships report ready, Admiral," replied his tactical officer, a 6-armed Vorthak whose species had learned to fear the hegemony's power centuries ago. "The human colony ship New Dawn remains in our sights. They still refuse to acknowledge our ultimatum." Crixtal's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. Humans, such a young, foolish species. They had emerged onto the galactic stage barely 50 years ago, spreading to a handful of worlds with their primitive vessels and naive ideals about freedom and self-determination. The hegemony had been patient, allowing them to establish their pathetic colonies before making their move. Now it was time to demonstrate why 847 species bowed before the hegemony's might. "Open a channel to the human vessel," he ordered. The main screen flickered to life, revealing the bridge of the human colony ship. A middle-aged woman with graying hair stood at the center, her blue eyes defiant, despite facing overwhelming odds. Captain Sarah Chen, if his intelligence was correct. "This is your final warning, human," Crixtal growled. "Surrender your vessel and submit to hegemony rule, or be destroyed." Captain Chen's expression remained steady. "We've already given you our answer, Admiral. Humanity doesn't kneel." "Then you will die standing," Crixtal snarled, cutting the transmission. "All ships prepare to—" "Sir!" The sensor operator's voice cracked with alarm. "Unknown contact bearing 27 Mark IV. It just appeared." Crixtal's attention snapped to the tactical display. There, approximately 50,000 kilometers away, hung a vessel unlike anything in the hegemony's databases. It was sleek, predatory, its dark hull seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. Strange energy patterns danced along its surface, and its design spoke of technologies that shouldn't exist. "Identify that ship," he commanded. "Sir, it's emitting human transponder codes, but the design is completely unknown. It's roughly the size of a heavy cruiser, but the energy readings—" The operator paused, his voice filled with disbelief. "Sir, it's generating more power than our entire fleet combined." Before Crixtal could respond, his communications officer spoke up. "Incoming transmission from the unknown vessel. On screen." A human face appeared. Young, perhaps 30, years old with dark skin and eyes that held depths Crixtal couldn't fathom. The man wore a simple black uniform, without any visible rank insignia. "Hegemony forces," the human said, his voice calm and measured. "You have 4 minutes to withdraw from this system." Crixtal's laughter boomed across the bridge. 4 minutes? Human, you face the might of the 7th Fleet. Do you have any idea what forces you're threatening? The human's expression didn't change. "You have 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Destroy that ship," Crixtal roared. The Sovereign's wrath unleashed its full arsenal, followed immediately by the rest of the fleet. The space between them and the human vessel lit up with plasma fire, quantum torpedoes, and exotic energy weapons. 200 ships firing as one. Enough. Firepower to crack a planet's crust. The human ship didn't move. It didn't dodge. It simply absorbed everything. The weapon's fire struck some kind of barrier around the vessel, creating ripples of blue-white energy that dispersed the attacks harmlessly. Not a single shot reached the hull. "Impossible," whispered the tactical officer. The human on the screen checked something off camera. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. "What are you?" Krixtal demanded. "Humanity has had time to grow since you last checked on us, Admiral. While you've been content to rule through fear and brutality, we've been exploring the darker corners of physics, learning, evolving." The human's eyes seemed to look directly at Krixtal. "Did you really think a species that fought its way up from a death world would simply roll over for bullies?" Krixtal felt his first stirring of uncertainty. "You're bluffing. One ship cannot—" 30 seconds, the human interrupted. Something changed in the tactical display. The unknown ship's energy signatures spiked beyond anything the sensors could properly measure. Space itself seemed to ripple around the vessel as it slowly turned to face the hegemony fleet. 10 seconds, the human said softly. "You should have taken the 4 minutes." The ship fired. It wasn't a weapon in any conventional sense. Reality seemed to fold in on itself, and suddenly 20 hegemony vessels simply weren't there anymore. Not destroyed, erased, as if they had never existed at all. The human ship fired again. Another 40 ships vanished. Panic erupted across the fleet's communications channels. Ships broke formation, trying to flee, but the human vessel moved like liquid darkness through space. Each time it fired, dozens more ships ceased to exist. The Sovereign's wrath, pride of the hegemony fleet, lasted exactly as long as any other vessel when the weapon touched it. Admiral Krixtal had just enough time to realize that the humans had become something far beyond what the galaxy understood, before his reality ended. Captain Sarah Chen watched from the new dawn as the last hegemony ship vanished from her sensors. The mysterious human vessel, if that's what it truly was, hung motionless in space for a moment before opening a communication channel. "Colony ship New Dawn, this is Captain Torres of the Terran Defense Corps vessel Nemesis. You're safe now." "Captain Torres," Sarah said, still stunned by what she'd witnessed. What did you do to them?" "What humanity does best, Captain." "Chen," came the reply. "We adapted. The galaxy spent 50 years learning to fear the hegemony's might. It's about time they learned to fear something else." The Nemesis vanished as suddenly as it had appeared, leaving only empty space where the 7th Fleet had been. In 4 minutes, the balance of galactic power had shifted forever. Word would spread quickly through the trade routes and communication networks. The hegemony's most powerful fleet, gone in 240 seconds. The humans had revealed their hand, and it was a winning one. The age of human submission was over. The age of human dominance had begun.